Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Yanti. I'm the first speaker from group 5. In this video, I'll explain about what is language planning and what are the stages of language planning. What is language planning? Language planning is official government level activity concerning the selection and promotion of a unified administrative language of languages. It represents a coherent effort by individuals, groups, or, or organizations to influence language use of or development. What? Okay, next, what are the stages of language planning? Language planning efforts typically include several stages. The first stage is a need analysis involving a sociopolitical analysis of communication patterns within the society. The next stage in the language planning process involves the selection of a language or language variety for planning purposes. Thank you.
The second speaker is me. I'm Nuramania S. In this occasion, I will talk about how language change due to social factors in society. Labov used styles of speech to illustrate the use of both pronunciations between social classes. His analysis of this variation targets other factors that influence language variation. Class, ethnicity, and gender are three social factors that play a role in a language variation. First, class. Class is the structure of relationships between groups where people are classified based on their education, occupation, and income. One example of how class affects language variation is evident in the New York City study by Labov. He displays the social classes in four classes: the lower working class, the upper working class, the lower middle class, and the upper middle class. He also displays careful he also displays the styles of speech in three styles, which are casual conversation, and reading. According to the data, the upper middle class speakers almost always use the standard ing variant, and the lower working class speakers almost always use the non-standard ing variant. Each class prefers the use of one pronunciation over the other regardless of the style of speech. However, the lower working class shift from using in a casual speech to using in the reading style. Second, ethnicity. Ethnicity refers to a group of people that share cultural characteristics. Ethnic groups affect language variations because they usually have to learn the language that is prominent in an area, although they feel language as a part of their identity. They have to compromise their languages and substitute it with another, or combine both languages. Ethnic groups learn the dominant language in an area when the majority of the people speak that language. The variety of the dominant language is called the substrate because it shows the differences between it and their language. Third, gender. Gender deals with the traits associated with man and woman. Gender affects language variation by influencing the language choice between man and woman. A man and woman's speech differ from one another in matters of degree. Man's language can be direct, non-standard, and aggressive. Women's language can be less harsh, emotional, and standard. Many languages have alternative forms that are used only by men or women. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurhida Moralta Omar and I'm the third speaker. Next, I will explain about language planning in various situations. C.A. Ferguson suggests that in language planning efforts, there are three components that need to be considered, namely alphabetizing, standardizing, and modernizing. 1. Alphabet. Spelling is the effort to make the target language have a perfect alphabet or spelling system. This activity is performed when the target language does not already have a spelling or standardization or refinement of an existing spelling. 2. Standardization. Standardization is the process of making one dialect or language a standard language compared to other dialects through its use in scientific, governmental, or other official situation. 3. Modernization. Modernization is efforts to develop vocabulary and foster certain forms of discourse, usually scientific discourse. This vocabulary building involves the creation of certain terms and expression to accommodate the needs of scientific or other fields. And next, so it can be seen that language planning involves efforts collecting data through investigation or research, both concerning language and cultural material, or language use preparation of comprehensive planning that may be possible, and the preliminary planning necessary to make decision regarding the selection and establishment of language norms. Okay, I think that's all I can say. Thank you, just the same, and the next discussion will be continued by Wilda Arlianti.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Wilda Arlianti and I will continue the presentation from our group. Okay, let's see. In the second point is the effort are carried out of there is a certainty or determination of a particular language as the national language. Implementation involves coding language norm and disseminating the encoding results. The assessment will involve the interpretation of the result or formula. Of the planning and implementation of the planning, this process is a self-reflection on the institution appointed by the government and their implementation in the field. Language planning also aims to synchronize all dialects contained in a country. In this way, it is hoped that a country has only one reference language for all its people. The synchronization can minimize the use of various regional dialects because it is direction to the use of a uniform and one language. If this desire is achieved, then language standardization and modernization will be easier to achieve and in the end can form on society. One language, one country, one nation, and one country. Indonesia has use this concept through the youth plates in 1928, One Nation, One Country, One Language, although its implementation began in 1945 along with the Proclamation of Independence. This is done because Indonesia has many languages and many dialects. In Mujlis 2007. Our presentation is done. Thank you very much for your attention.